Hey friends, Jared here from Fanboys Forever. I just thought I'd make this video to wish you guys the absolute happiest and merriest of Christmases possible. I also thought this would be a great way to just kind of give you an update on the channel and where we're going with it and kind of some of the things that we're into right now. With everything going on in the world the way it is, it's been easier to just do more, I think, just focus on the toy reviews for right now without actually doing, some of the older style of videos that we used to do where it was me and Brandon and we're sitting there having these discussions and things like that. It's even made things a little more difficult about doing commentaries and things that we used to like to record. But we hope that we can get more of those kinds of things off the ground. Of course, with the vaccine very swiftly approaching, I think that's going to give us a lot more opportunities. Another thing that I would like to update you on is I do have some ambitious plans for kind of some toy history kind of specials, but not in the way that they've been done before. I think that that's starting to become a more popular form of video, and I don't want it to get stale, and I certainly don't want it to be kind of a dry sort of like history lesson kind of thing. So I'm going to avoid that sort of format, and I think you're going to like what I'm going to bring to it, and hopefully going to bring some much needed humor to that style of video. So I hope you laugh a lot, and I hope you enjoy it. That's something to look out for. Probably by the end of January, you're going to see something like that, maybe in the middle of January. It depends on scheduling and how we can get things together soon enough to do that. The main hope that I have is by March or so, that you will see, at least by then, that you'll see me and Brandon back on camera together and doing things in the more traditional way. Of course, you'll still be seeing a lot of separate content, as as Brandon is with his family and I'm with mine. Sometimes that's the easiest way for us to get like toy reviews to you. So one of the things that I think I'm going to miss a lot is doing like those Christmas special videos where we eat all of those different Christmas candies. But I guess I'll just go ahead and put this out here for the channel. There's a reason, kind of more of a reason why I won't be able to do many of those, is I've been diagnosed with celiac disease. And if you guys know what that is, it just basically means that you can't eat gluten. And I was in pain for almost a year, wondering why on earth that I had all this pain, through my intestines and trying to figure it out. And finally, after different procedures and different exploratory things and some blood tests, we finally know that, yeah, I have celiac. So basically that means anything with bread or cookies or anything like that in the traditional sense are kind of out the window. So it kind of makes a Christmas taste test kind of special like that sort of obsolete. I guess, you could eat things like gummies and hard candies and suckers and things like that. But I think more of the fun in that stuff was eating like, cakes and things of that nature and cookies. At least that's what I always kind of, I think that's what I more think of when I think of Christmas stuff. But instead of doing that, in lieu of that, while I'm in the parking lot here and having a chance to film something like this, I think in lieu of that, I will kind of give you some of the information and some of the things that I usually talk about in a Christmas video. I'll just give that to you in a vlog post. So one of the things that I always talk about is there anything in particular that I suggest that you watch? And this is something that I suggest that not only you watch, but you also read the book from the 70s. And that is the Emmett Otter's Jug Band Christmas.
Well, at least there ain't no hole in the wash tub.
Head full of good thoughts, belly full of grub, money in your pocket when there ain't no hole in the wash tub.
Emmett, I guess I should feel pretty bad. But the funny thing is that I don't. I feel pretty good.
So do I. I don't know why, but I do.
I guess it's 'cause we did just what Pa would have done. Mighty nice kazoo blowing, Harvey.
Okay.
Our world is always changing. Every day's a surprise.
And Jim Henson did an incredible TV special version of this with puppets from, I believe, 1978, and I think it's actually on Amazon Prime right now. And if you have not seen Emmett Otter's Jug Band Christmas, talk about heartwarming and just well done, well made, well produced, excellent songs.
So many things to
then I really suggest that you give Emmett Otter a try this year. I think that if your family has been looking for a new kind of Christmas special, I think that's a really good one.
Love can open your eyes. Brother, look around in our world.
If you're more of a horror fan and you're into kind of weird stuff, there is this really weird Christmas movie called Rare Exports. And this is just so wild. It's definitely a horror film, so it's not necessarily like a family thing necessarily. But it is something that, if you're into that kind of thing, and you know, you're older, of course, that I suggest you try it out. It is a wild movie. If you want something that bucks the trends of all of your typical, traditional kind of Christmas stuff, that would probably be it. So that would be what I would suggest there. One that is very traditional that I really like, that's kind of a shorter kind of thing, and I think you can find this on YouTube pretty readily, is The Snowman. And The Snowman is based on a book. It's a picture book, so there's no words in it or anything. But it is truly fantastic short film. It won an Academy Award in the 80s. Cannot remember exactly all the details of that, but I think that it's something that you'll really enjoy and something that this video can also double as a kind of end of the year wrap up sort of thing. Of course, we're going to keep it casual here on Fanboys Forever. I think one of my favorite parts of the year was revitalizing the channel and revisiting it after all this time. My career as a teacher, in case you haven't picked up on that in some of the other videos that we've done, I've been a teacher now for 8 years. But it's something I truly love and something I put a lot of time and, you know, hopefully a lot of energy into, because the kids deserve that, especially in 2020. And it's something that keeps me away from being able to do more with the channel. And Brandon, he had a pretty big change of career. And, you know, that when you've got a young family and, you know, that I think takes a lot of your time and a lot of your attention away from things like YouTube. So it's been really fun, though, to actually put just that little bit of extra time and effort with some new equipment, some new editing software and things, for me to be able to kind of bring the channel back a little bit. So it's been really fun. Particularly fun on the Spin Master Batman reviews. I think that's been the thing that helped me see that there was potential in bringing the channel back. And I thought, you know, people enjoy this. And just like with our old reviews back in the day for the Mattel stuff, there is a market there that is totally untapped for something that would typically be seen as like a kid's toy market. There's an adult audience that wants to know more about how these things are not only good for their kids or if they're a good toy or not, but, you know, what about the collectible sense of it? And I think that that's kind of where we fall in. One of the other big joys is the Mezco reviews that I've gotten to do, and I've really enjoyed that. That's been a lot of fun. They're a lot of work, but they're also just very rewarding. But it's also come with some QC problems and things that make those kinds of premium items not as much fun. And so I think that that's, to me, that there's a lot of appeal in those items, but at the same time, there's a lot of appeal in those items that are more kind of like sturdily built, and I suppose aimed at a younger audience for that reason. So I think each one of them has their own things, you know, their own appeal, I suppose. But it certainly is very, very fun to be back in the saddle with the channel and be giving more of my attention to it. And I hope you guys are enjoying the videos. And of course, I think the thing that I want to do, and I think it's something Brandon did really well, he kind of experimented with it a little when he did his video about the old rental places that he used to visit as a kid and kind of revisiting those places. I would love to see our channel transition to more of that sort of content. So I think Brandon was onto something with that video, because I just really enjoyed watching it as a viewer, because we're making our videos in isolation these days. That's why, you know, you'll see the videos are very different. So I definitely want to do that. And I think I have found a way with the project I was alluding to earlier to kind of bring together childhood nostalgia and also kind of more informational kind of toy videos, which we know are, you know, they're becoming a bigger thing on YouTube. And I think wrapping that up with some comedy to where it's not just played straight, I think that that's going to be fun. I've also been really happy to go back and look and see that we have some videos that are doing better than I thought they would. particularly the retro spectacular Judge Dredd look back on the Mega City Heroes line that I did, years ago. And that video did a lot better, and I think there was a bigger audience for retro spectacular than I thought there was. So I might as well go ahead and say it. Yeah, you will be seeing a return of retro spectacular. But like I said, I think that some of the museum kind of toy stuff, it's getting a little dry. So I'm going to do something that hopefully lights the fire under those museum toy videos, those history of toys kind of things. Hope we can do something sort of unique that you've not seen before, and I think maybe you'll find some enjoyment in it. Might even have a brand new character, a new take on a character, shall we say, as a result of it. Hopefully he's one that's going to stick around with the channel. So this year has been a crazy one because so many movies have gotten delayed, and it's funny, the last thing I had gotten to see in a theater was Sonic the Hedgehog in February. And by the way, Sonic the Hedgehog was much better than it had any right to be, and I salute them. I think the movie was actually really good. But aside from Sonic there, I thought, well, I have an opportunity here because Cinemark is actually offering the opportunity to get private screenings of things. If you pay the $100, you get a whole theater. And thankfully, me and my brother Josh, were able to get one of these private screenings at Cinemark, and we watched the ultimate Christmas movie, Batman Returns. I know Batman Returns is one of those things, you either really love it and you really get it, or it's one of those things where you're like, oh, that's that weird Batman movie, I don't know about that one. That one's so strange. For me, it's a I get it. Yay! And not only was it one of the very first movies that I probably saw in a theater, I was probably 4.5 or something when I saw the movie, but it left a really big impression on me. I saw it at the Fearless Flick in London, Kentucky, and that theater is since long gone. Me and Brandon actually visited what remains of that building. The building is still there, but it's dramatically altered. And so that was a big memory for me, and getting to see it in really great high quality presentation.
Well, I have to say Batman Returns turns out it's a really good movie.
And by the way, if I'm going to review the experience at Cinemark for the private watch party, it's excellent. I know me and my brother ended up paying $55 a piece to go and do this because we were the only two people there. Brandon wasn't able to come because of work, but it was just such a cool experience, and the staff did a really good job. Everything was clean, and of course, social distancing and masks rules were all in effect at the theater, so I felt very comfortable. So I really enjoyed my experience, and I do want to encourage you that if that's something you're interested in for your family, maybe if you've got a bigger family, that $100 price combined with I think they have a lot of discounts on all the concessions, and I know that me and my brother, we got probably what would have cost us $40 cost us $20, and that my brother bought there. So you know how the concessions are, they're still wildly overpriced, but at least there's kind of a discount now. So I would encourage that. I think that's a really good, safe way to experience the movies still. But that leads me into this whole other debate, which I've been looking for a way to discuss on the channel, and I think this is the right time to do it. And that's the debate about what is the safest, best way to come back to the movie theater right now. Is this okay that Warner Brothers is taking all of their film slate and they're basically making it HBO Max? I hate to break it to everybody, because I love the movie theater so much, and I really do. But at the same time, I know that the movie theater experience is probably going away. I mean, you can see it doesn't take Houdini. It doesn't even take Johnny Carson in a hat to figure out what the future is. The future is, of course, streaming, and we've been seeing the signs for forever. Direct-to-consumer is where it's at for all this stuff. Even collectors' toys are switching more to a direct-to-consumer model. So it's no surprise that entertainment and movies, video games, with digital downloads, everything is going this way. And really, I think it's more of a good thing than it is a bad thing. And I don't have a lot of respect for some of the comments that Christopher Nolan has been making about some of this. He's made some really petty remarks, And you know how much I love Nolan. I mean, anybody who's listened to our Dark Knight Rises commentary will hear me not only defend him, but heck, I'll apologize for him. But I cannot believe the way that he's handled this. I was also really disappointed in the way that he pushed Tenet, which shouldn't have been released the way it was. And I just don't think that in the current climate that it was very responsible. And I don't think it was very genuine, some of the comments that he's made. There's things that are more important than the general audience theater movie-going experience. And one of those things is people's health and safety. And so I do think, though, that maybe Warner Brothers... So I guess what I'm trying to say is Warner Brothers, I support them in their move to bring a lot of this stuff to HBO Max. Would it have been better in a theater? Yeah, in particular, going to like the Regal IMAX room where I like to go and my brother likes to go. You know, and we pay big money to do that. You know, you can run into over $50 just for yourself once you buy a couple of concessions. I mean, it's easy to do, but I'm willing to pay it because it's an experience like no other. I saw both of the Avengers, Infinity War and Endgame that way, and it was just an incredible experience. And saw a lot of other great blockbusters like that, Godzilla, King of the Monsters. And it's unparalleled. It's absolutely its own thing. And I suggest that anybody who gets a chance does it like that. You're talking to the guy who is willing to pay $55 to see Batman Returns, okay? I have the movie setting in my house, all right? But I love the theater. I love that experience. And it's special, okay? It's unlike anything else. At the same time, we've got to be real here, okay? Let's be real about what's happening with the theater. The theater will become more of a specialty experience for people like me, people like my brother, people like Brandon, who care about the theatrical experience and who value it, and I think that that's a good thing. But I think that maybe, even though I support Warner Brothers in their move to HBO Max, I think it's a little premature. I really do hope, and this is just me being optimistic here, I'm hoping that by fall of 2021, you know, good Lord willing, that we're going to see a possibility of maybe, you know, with masks and things, maybe a little bit of distancing and things, that maybe we can see a movie theater open to general audiences. Wouldn't that be wonderful? And I do think it's going to be possible through vaccines and science, and like I said, just the blessings of the good Lord, that we can get there. And I hope that we see that. I really do. And I think that if these distributors will hold out a little bit longer and just pick and choose your movies that you want to premiere to streaming. I think it worked really well for the Trolls World Tour, and that's what they did. I think Universal, yeah, I think they're the ones. That's what they did there. So take a movie like, I don't know, Dune, and I know Denis Villeneuve is really upset about the possibility of it, you know, going to streaming, and I understand that. That movie's going to come out in October, from what I understand, unless Warner Brothers changes their minds now. But because of that, you can probably safely say, okay, you know, let's hold off on it, and we'll just release that then, okay? Because Dune is a potential franchise starter, and you don't want to do anything that might change that or compromise that in any way. You've got another movie, though, like, say, I don't know, maybe a King Kong versus Godzilla, Godzilla versus King Kong. I don't remember which way it goes. But either way, you know, you have something like that, and, you know, maybe, possibly, it's the last movie that they're going to do in the MonsterVerse, but we're not sure about that yet. It probably depends on contract negotiations with Toho. That one might be a good candidate to release that way, because I think the release date was in May or something, and, you know, things may be a little more normal by then, but that one might be a good candidate to have like a hybrid release model. And then there's some other films on their slate that I think would probably work well for that. I definitely think they're doing the right thing by going ahead and releasing Wonder Woman 1984. But that's a situation where there's already merchandise on the shelves, and you've already got your advertising push and all this other stuff. It already happened. So just go ahead and release it. I think that makes the most sense. That movie sat on the shelf for forever. And the same thing is true about King Kong versus Godzilla. You've got a situation where the figures are all at Walmart right now. I mean, really. So if you're going to have your marketing push align, I think that's where you go ahead and say, okay, just go ahead and release it. I'm of two minds about it, but I do think that there's truth on both sides. I really do. I think there's truth on both sides. But I will firmly plant my flag in we should be moving towards streaming, especially right now. So And that's coming from the guy who, like I said, paid big money to see Batman Returns in a theater in December 2020. So that's my stance on that one. Looking back on the year, it's been a great year for Fanboys Forever. It's been a great year for the channel. But I know that it's been a very difficult year for people. And it's been a very difficult year for all of us in a lot of different ways. And so I just want to say very sincerely that I pray that 2021 is so much better. And of course, I pray the Lord blesses you and your family during this time. It's really tough. That's my prayer for you. That's my hope for you. And just wish you all of the blessings for you and your family. And hope that we've made you chuckle or give you some entertainment or some information maybe that helped you throughout the year. And I hope that we can do that even more for you in 2021. So, of course, let us know down below what you're going to be doing this year for Christmas. For me and my parents, I believe, we're going to be having a Zoom Christmas just for safety reasons and things. So just let me know down below what you guys are doing. Maybe you're going to do the whole traditional thing. Maybe not. Everybody's situation is different, and it is not a one-size-fits-all situation. And I think more people need to acknowledge that. And what may work well for me may not work well for you. So with that in mind, as I always say, God bless you and yours. Be safe out there, and I'll see you on Fanboys Forever. Fanboy out.